Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling a hot topic, Trump's promises of explosive economic growth and whether they're enough to take on the staggering $36 trillion US debt. So let's just say history might have something to say about that. So here's the big picture. Big names like Jeff Bezos, Larry Fink, and Trump's Treasury pick Scott Bessent all seem to agree. The best way to deal with this mountain of debt is to supercharge economic growth. Bessent even called this the last chance for America to avoid falling into what he calls a European-style socialist democracy. Dramatic, right? But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Larry Fink, who leads BlackRock, has been pushing for investments in artificial intelligence and infrastructure, saying those are key to boosting the economy and shrinking the deficit. Then you've got Jeff Bezos, who told a crowd at the DealBook Summit that the solution is clear: grow the economy by 3 to 5% each year while keeping annual deficits under control. Sounds great on paper, but let's face it, that's a tough goal to hit consistently. If you look back, very few presidents have managed to sustain growth like that. Bill Clinton did in the late 90s, and we even saw budget surpluses then. Reagan had a couple of good years in the 80s, but Trump's got a bigger challenge ahead. His tax cuts and tariff plans could actually add trillions to the debt over the next decade, depending on how things play out. Here's the thing. Trump has made bold promises. He's talking about cutting taxes, boosting energy production, rolling back regulations, and slapping tariffs on imports, claiming this will all lead to economic growth so massive it will pay down the debt. Plus, he's recruited big names like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to help cut government waste. Ambitious, sure. But here's the catch. Trump says he won't touch Social Security or Medicare, which are the biggest contributors to our debt and are set to run out of funds by the mid-2030s. And those tariffs, they could easily backfire if other countries retaliate. Even without that, experts say we'd need unheard of growth, like 5% a year for several years to make a serious dent in the debt. Tom Porcelli, an economist, put it bluntly, you can't solve this with growth alone. That hasn't stopped Trump's allies from defending his strategy. They argue that deregulating industries, cutting taxes, and producing more oil will create a more business-friendly climate, which could unlock private investment. Joseph Livorgna, a former Trump economist, is optimistic that Musk and Ramaswamy's Department of Government Efficiency could save billions by cutting down on fraud and waste. But honestly, we've heard similar promises before. Experts from places like the Penn-Wharton budget model say the real solution lies in structural changes. They've suggested politically risky ideas like raising the retirement age for Social Security and Medicare, or taxing investment gains more heavily. These moves, they say, could reduce deficits by nearly 40% while boosting wages and economic growth. But let's be real. Who's ready to tackle those third rails in politics? Kent Smetters, who leads the Penn-Wharton project, pointed out a major issue. Government spending is already tied to economic growth. Programs like Social Security and Medicare automatically increase with inflation or rising costs. Even if it improves productivity, it could also drive up costs by creating new expensive treatments that entitlement programs would have to cover. And then there's the debate over Trump's 2017 tax cuts. Some say letting parts of them expire could help reduce the deficit, even if it slows growth in the short term. But Trump's team argues the opposite, that rolling back those cuts would hurt wages and families while putting more pressure on an aging workforce. At the end of the day, some of Trump's ideas, like improving government efficiency, aren't bad, but let's be honest, they're not enough to fix a problem this big. Mark Zandi, an economist at Moody's, called these moves small ball. Even if they help, they're not going to transform the overall fiscal picture. So what's the takeaway? Can we really grow our way out of $36 from the debt? Honestly, it feels like wishful thinking without deeper, more fundamental changes. But I want to hear what you think. Is explosive growth the way forward, or do we need a reality check? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.